Well, I'm back from my vacation. As you saw in the last video that I posted, I was on vacation for the last couple weeks in Philmont in New Mexico at a scout camp. It was a wonderful time. Had quite a bit of rain, took some good photos, but back at home now, and it's time to start getting back into the composting. So today we're going to do an update on the African Nightcrawler bin, and it has been about 22 days since my last update. Now, I wasn't really planning to leave it this long at the start, but plans are what they are, and you know, I did it a little bit before I left, had a lot of stuff building up to my vacation, and I haven't looked at them since. So, and I've been home for like a day, and I'm finally acclimated to being home again, and it's time to take a look and see how it's doing. I don't know what I did last time, other than just, I think we just kind of checked on them a little bit, maybe added a little bit of food. This time we might add actual food and see if we can get them really consuming this material. But let's first go and take a look and see how they're doing. I did not have a heat mat under them, and it was warm here. It was in the like mid to high 90s apparently. So the air conditioning was on in the house, but still the basement gets a little bit warmer when it's that hot out. So we'll see how they're doing. We'll see if we need to add the heat mat, maybe have it on a timer that turns on and off a little bit. But let's go and first take a look and see how they're doing. All right, as you can see here, it says 6:15. Today is 7/7. So I'm going to move this down, kind of center it a little bit here. And let's get to look and see how this is inside. Make sure, hopefully the worms are still alive. As I said, I haven't checked on them in a while. So, you know, and I didn't check on them when I first got home either. So let's just see here. I see some worms on the top here. That's a good sign. Not seeing any cocoons or anything stuck on the plastic here, but it does look good. But some worms on the top here, that's a good sign. A little spider crawling out over there on the side. I don't think you can see that, but lots of castings here on top. Looks like they're burrowing in here a little bit, making themselves at home. Let's just sort of dig this up a little bit, just take a look here. So, actually, one of the things that we should do, we should check the temperature. I'm very curious what the temperature is here. I'm going to do one from my side, and then I'll do it from yours. So, I put it where you can read it. So, about 71 to 73 degrees, depending on where I was pointing it, it looks like. Yeah, but pretty good around 71 degrees, so it's a little chilly maybe for the Africans. They'd probably like it a little bit higher, maybe in the high 70s and the low 70s, but it's not in the 60s, which is sort of can be detrimental to them. But either way, we might try to heat this up a little bit by putting a mat underneath. They are starting to eat through this cardboard, though. I mean, there's a lot more castings in here than I remember when I first got them. I mean, look at this. They're still active in here. You can see them really crawling along. They look pretty good. So they're doing pretty well here. A lot of castings, though. I mean, I was actually quite surprised how much castings are. I mean, we had quite a big bag of stuff, but still, this is starting to turn into more castings, and it looks like than cardboard. So they're starting to really chew through this stuff. It is quite dry comparatively. I might be able to squeeze out a drop of water, but it's hard to tell. I don't want to squeeze them with the worms in there, obviously. But you can see, I mean, they're in here. Nice big African Nightcrawlers. And this one's not quite as lively as the others, but I do know that sometimes it can take a generation to really get moving on stuff. So that was on this side over here. I had the label on this side. Typically, that's where I fed last if I do a feeding. I can't even remember now at this point. Let's just dig in the middle section here a little bit. Still plenty of worms in here. They're starting to really, I mean, you can really see this cardboard is really starting to break down. I mean, you can see that there's definitely a lot of castings in here. Looks like maybe the cardboard is going a little quicker than the wood pellets in here. Let's just dig over here in this corner. Look at this. I mean, like I'm going in underneath, and you can see it's just all castings. It looks like down there. I mean, this is actually quite surprising. They are starting to really maneuver through this cardboard quickly as far as what's in here. Let's just do a little bit more. There's a little bit of cardboard on the side here. Let me just shift this over just a little bit so you can see a little better. So there's a lot of cardboard on this side here, but there's not as much in the bin. I mean, remember, this is filled with cardboard. You know, so they're really starting to go to town on this stuff and eliminate all that cardboard and carbon material in here, really. So once I get a little ball like that of cardboard, but now let's just add in, I think what we're going to do this time, we're going to add in a little bit of food. Not a whole lot, just a little bit. This is almost all castings now, it looks like, I have to say. I mean, like, compared to the, let's say, 90% cardboard it was when we first took it out, it is probably now a good 60% castings and 40% cardboard. So that's quite impressive little change they've made to it. Now I'm going to throw in, this is frozen, but I don't typically want to throw in frozen food really probably with African Nightcrawlers, but I thought I'd throw in just a little bit here of this watermelon. Watermelon is something that a lot of my other worms really, really like. So we're going to throw some frozen one in the corner here. We're not going to put in a whole lot, just a few. And what we're going to do here, if I can find my cardboard, we're going to throw in some fresh cardboard on top of that. Let me just grab that from over here. And we'll throw in, actually, I think I've got a little bit in this container here of crushed eggshell just to give them a little bit of grit here too. So let's do that first. A little bit of our crushed egg and crab shell. As I keep, you need that grit for them to break stuff down. And then we're going to throw in a bunch of paper and cardboard on top here. This is pretty fresh. This stuff is all new. But as we saw, they're really chewing through that stuff. But this is going to protect them from that cold watermelon in the bottom. And then we're going to cover this up really, really well. So what we're going to do first, though, add a little bit of water. I feel like this is getting a little bit dry. So, and this is just water from my basement, so it's not warm or anything like that. This is just the same temperature as the air in here, essentially, which, as you saw, was about 70 degrees. So we're going to put in quite a bit of water in here, though, really saturate this down. And the reason why is I feel like this is starting to dry out a little bit. I mean, I really do feel like this entire thing needs a little bit of water, just a little bit, not a whole lot. But the paper I want to have nice and wet, so that way they can start digging into it right away as soon as it starts building up that bacteria. All right, let's just a little bit more water on here. We're going to fold this over. We're going to get it wet a little bit more, and we'll go with that. But so far, this is looking really promising as far as how quickly they're moving through this the carbon material in here. We're going to put this back over top. As I said, we're going to have that have the paper there kind of protect them from being too cold on the watermelon. They don't like cold temperatures. They prefer it really warm. So we're just going to do that. We're going to add a little bit more moisture in here, I think, too. And we're going to put it. Then we'll put the lid back on and close this up. Now, the one thing, as I said, I keep debating on is whether I should put this on top of a heating pad again. But the heating pad, I noticed, kind of heated up a little bit too much. At one point, it was like in the mid 80s on top, and that's too warm. So I don't know whether I should maybe have it on a timer, or maybe get some sort of temperature switch where I could actually set it to turn off at a certain temperature when it reaches, 80 degrees or something like that. Have it switch off, so that way we can kind of keep it that right temperature. All right, that looks good. Just adding a little bit of water to the surface, that'll soak in. And now we're going to put our bubble wrap back on top here. And that's our update. Now, I'll have to take this piece off right here. I'll switch it with one that says 7-7. I'll move it to this side over here where we last fed. And that way you know where the last feeding was. And that's it for this update. If you have any questions, please let me know. And please remember, I do have links down below to all the items that I'm using, essentially. I also have a worm provider down there, Memes Worms. She does not have African Nightcrawlers last I checked, but she does have the red worms and the European worm. So if you're looking for something like that, you might want to go and check it out. I really highly recommend you do this as a form of composting. I think it works really well. And thank you for watching.